team that was coming to Zimbabwe. And now we are saying, as Zimbabweans here in the diaspora, we are free to go out and speak and express our feelings and ourselves as a community, to speak out and say, no, these people are self-imposed. They were never elected. They just imposing themselves on people. So we're encouraging everyone that is able to come out on the 17th on Tuesday. Let's go out there for once. Because I think when we went to Scotland, when ED came, we had hoped that buses and buses were coming from all directions to come and demonstrate. But no, people are busy with their shifts and like life goes on. Everything is normal. No, it's not normal. This woman has been with Mnangagwa for more than 45 years. That Mnangagwa has been in ZANU-PF that we know. She has been with Mnangagwa for all those 8 years that Mnangagwa has been a self-imposed president. She has been with Mnangagwa in ZANU-PF for all those 45 years. What has she done for the people of Zimbabwe? We haven't heard anyone speak about women empowerment. What has changed? Because there's suddenly a trip to the UK where she can come and do shopping. She's now coming to represent women empowerment and all sorts of things. We need to speak out. Zimbabweans, if there's anything that we are really lacking, is coming out, speaking out. Every time we are just a handful. If we are 30, we say, wow. Why are we not concerned about our lives? This is our lives that is being taken away, our lives that is being eroded by these people. Let's speak out. Let's have them account for all these things that they are doing. For me, I think Mnangagwa, AUXILLIA has never stood for the women. There have been women that have small children, 15 years old, that have been married to old men, that at some point in Marange, this girl died during childbirth because she was young, she couldn't give birth. But I never heard AUXILLIA speak out. I've never heard AUXILLIA representing anyone except supporting her husband in these illegal deals, making money, being the chief Gananda. She is after money. She wants everywhere there's money. That's where her nose is. I've not heard her speak about the rights of women or trying to support women. Her first lady there, the former first lady for Chiwenga, Mary, is dying, is having limbs to take a cut off every now and then, but she has never stood out and spoke as a woman, as a responsible woman, a caring woman. So I don't know why she's coming to the United Kingdom, who she's representing in the FLAIR Summit. I'm not sure. I am still waiting for answers. Maybe at the end of this space, I might have some answers from some of you. If you know who she's representing and what she has ever done for women in Zimbabwe. For me, she's a no-go area. She shouldn't have even been chosen to come because she has done nothing. And for the 45 years she has been in ZANU-PF, she has not even opened her mouth to support other women. So I don't know why it's starting now because she's coming to the UK. Then she will start being a responsible woman. No, that can't be. Let's speak out. Let's come out on Tuesday and be heard. We need the British government to hear us because this is not normal. Thank you for now. I think I'll give others time to speak, and we'll also keep on talking when there's room to do so.
Thank you so much.
But for me, yeah, thank you.
So there's quite a few people. I think Tatenda is going to be the second one. I think with AUXILLIA, she also has the Angel of Hope Foundation. And when I read up on it, because, sometimes you need maps, she doesn't leave it. So she doesn't leave the human rights that she talks about. She doesn't help every Zimbabwean. She helps ZANU-PF members. And then what we ought to be aware of with this FLAIR Summit, it's actually a very low-level organization. It is not something huge, but AUXILLIA is using it to build her platform, her profile, just in case her and her family need to escape somewhere for safety. So this is someone that was talking to me about it last week. And so there are many reasons why she's probably doing this. And there's also the shopping element. She will come with how she travels with 10, 20, 30 people, and they will probably be earning $1,000 a day times however many people that she comes with. Whilst in Zimbabwe, there's no employment, the hospitals don't function. There's so many children dropping out of school, girls falling pregnant at 12, 11, 13. The list goes on, but I'll also keep quiet and ask Tatenda to be the next person to speak. After Tatenda, it's Milton. Milton is Guja, and then it's Barbara. So maybe if we can speak less, so we give everyone a chance, and we will circle back to everybody. So we will come back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, host. Thank you, everyone, for attending this. As part of the organizers to mobilize and to push for this space to take place. This is not for our personal glory, but for Zimbabwe. It's said when UK, because they've seen how China, Russia, and Belarus are benefiting from weak systems in Zimbabwe, because our minerals and land is just being given to anyone that can just give Mnangagwa some few millions for his family without consideration about Zimbabweans. Those who have been following events in Bikita, where lithium is mined, I recently wrote a post when I addressed the Bikita mines to say, how do you celebrate that you are drilling boreholes in the 21st century? Lithium is being looted from Zimbabwe. What Chinese can do is to drill boreholes. But I grew up in Kadoma, a city called the City of Gold. Kadoma is surrounded by more than 7 mines. Those mines, they were existing before I was born. But one thing I can tell you, as much as the Anglo-American mines were looting, taking gold and everything from Kadoma, one thing they did, they would develop where they were mining. Those who can go to F4 flats in Kadoma who are in Zimbabwe, they will tell you, Kadoma, the mines, their houses, there is running water, which was not built by ZANU-PF, but the mining companies. The same as if you go to Zimplets in Ngezi, Mondoro Ngezi. Mondoro Ngezi has been converted into a town because the mining company is giving back. But we have Mnangagwa, who is a loose hand that empowers foreigners more than the locals by giving foreign companies easy access to our minerals, easy access to our land. As we are talking, we have used that strike that has been going on for a long time. It's now 2 flat months plus some days, plus the week. There is a strike that Mnangagwa, who is the chancellor of that institution, because he's the chancellor of all state universities, he has not addressed that. But he's doing empowerment programs. Those empowerment programs, he's providing houses and cars for ZANU-PF, few, not even those that went to war to fight for Zimbabwe, the so-called war veterans. are not the actual war veterans who went to war for Zimbabwe. And we just watch in wow. We have got hospitals that doesn't have medication. It's a well-known thing that Zimbabwean hospitals, they are not facilitated with modern technology, medication, and the skill set. We do have the people, but they don't have machines or equipment to use because ZANU-PF have neglected to take care of our public service. If there's one thing that ZANU-PF and its Zvigananda, Zanatagwire, Chivayo, even Auxilia herself, what they don't bother or care about is the public service in Zimbabwe, which is the paramount responsibility of a government to have a smooth, viable public service that provides quality service to its citizens. We have got land, we pay tax. Zimbabwe has got more taxes than UK and other first world countries. All that money, it goes to Mnangagwa and his family. Sadly, some of us, we have come closer we come from areas where these guys, they do their operations. And I'll continue to reference Kadoma because my city, where I come from, it's one of where the Mnangagwa family and Scott Sabuku Saku Panya and others, they thrive in terms of God with the help of Zizai, who is now a member of Central Committee in ZANU-PF. AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA has got a mine, F4 flats, which used to be owned by the Anglo-Americans. She's in partnership with Indians there, using people for cheap labor, and sometimes they don't get paid. I have friends who are there who always say, because you're outside, you can speak for us. Your house from the mine is less than 5 kilometers from where the mining activities. Those that are interested to research, they can research about that. We can talk and talk a lot, but it's sad because I was part of the delegation that met Pet Vows on 20 March, and the head of the SADC delegation at the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and we deliberated, but Pet didn't assure us a lot because as someone who grew up in Zimbabwe, as people that have got land there, the British people are now looking at regaining what they lost during Mugabe's time without looking at the welfare of Zimbabweans. They are not bothered that Zimbabweans are orphans all over the world. No reforms have been made since Mnangagwa came. There is more taking from the people more than giving to the people. Right now, he owns all land. I just posted in the comment of this X or of this space about how Mnangagwa have instructed ministers to take land that has been owned by farmers in Springs, which is the Gormon's area, 5 kilometers away from Harare. Some of the farmers are young people who have even been awarded for performing and producing year in, year out. But Mnangagwa is giving that land to Billy Rautenberg, his long-term ally, to build houses. While recently they said Zimbabwe's economy is centered on agriculture. How do you say you are empowering people when you're taking from people who were given land for years? Now you want to give a friend to do a housing project to convert farming land. So there is a lot that we need to do. It's said party that most Zimbabweans who are here, when they get the 12, 13 pounds from the shifts, they think that they have made it. There is nothing greater than being home. Some of us said we have not lived home. It's almost 15 years now since I left Zimbabwe in 2010, 2012, going to South Africa. From there, I had to come here because I cannot go home. And sadly, I lost a father who was murdered by ZANU-PF people. So my hate for ZANU-PF and hate for people who continue to oppress people will continue, and I'll continue to fight and be the voice for the voiceless and those that believe that Zimbabwe one day will be better for us all. Thank you for now, Chair.
Thank you so much for that. And you know, if we look, you know, you talk about the fact that we are here, maybe it's not like our permanent home, and unless you've naturalized, or even if you've become a citizen, we have all seen the global politics and how they are playing out. Every European country is becoming far right. They're far right, anti-immigration, anti-migrants. The laws are changing, even here within the UK, immigration laws are changing. The right to leave and, you know, how you then go on to apply. Everything is changing around the world. We don't know what the future holds. And so we need to think about our own country and what we can do.
But the sad part, host, is that our people are so relaxed. You know why Zimbabwe, we are suffering for 45 years under the leadership of ZANU-PF? Zimbabweans will always have plan B, plan C, plan D. Instead of fighting, myself, I was part of student politics and student leadership in South Africa, where when South Africans tell you that this is nonsense, if you could research on the fees must fall that happened in 2015, some of us were championing that because I was in student politics and leading. And when South Africans tell you that this is nonsense, they go against whoever is trying to oppress them or to take advantage of them. But for Zimbabwean, it's all about, if I can have a plan B for my family, for my mother, it's okay. So it's said we're a country that has got no united goals to say we need to have reforms and be a democratic country whereby members of ZANU-PF and the opposition can mingle.
Can I just stop you so that we go to other speakers and we'll come back? We'll come to you. Okay. It would not be fair to say that Zimbabweans don't want to do anything. People are afraid. People die in Zimbabwe just for speaking out. So let's bear that in mind. Some of us are in the diaspora and we are very safe. But for those in the country, it's very sad. Nobody speaks out against anything. So if we can go to Milton, Guja, and then Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Can you hear me? Hello?
Speak up.
Hello?
We can hear you, Milton. Please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm traveling, so just in case my voice might be...
You don't need to speak up, though, because we can't hear you. I'm on loudspeaker and I can't hear you.
Sorry, I'll just turn my thing up. Just a second. Yeah. Hello, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, Chair, can you hear me now?
Yes, Milton, we can hear you.
Thank you very much for bringing me on. Thank you very much for bringing me on. So basically, like in terms of the AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA being invited to come to attend the FLAIR Summit, in my view, she's not coming here for the empowerment of women's rights in Zimbabwe. This is a PR stunt by ZANU-PF to try and sanitize their public relations with the international counterparts in the UK, and this is so wrong for FLAIR Summit to have AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA as part of the speakers, because you would have thought that they would have heavily vetted the speakers that would be speaking at the summit to make sure that they are people of good standing, good standing, and but obviously this has not been the case. So in my view today, I'm speaking out today not just as a Zimbabwean in the diaspora, but as someone who believes
I think Milton might be having challenges. So shall we come to you, Gusha? Thank you. Hi, is Gusha here?
I'm here.
Yeah, please go ahead. I think we've lost Milton.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. It comes from when you're growing up. The whole world is built by a mother. We all came from a mother. If you're not a good mother, the whole family will never be a good family. You can't let your husband do things which are very wrong. I'm 37, turning 38. I speak to Ndebele people who feel so bad up to now. Some who I didn't even see Gukura Wundi. But when I was shown what happened with the ED, he killed Ndebele people. You kill your own people, thousands, and your wife is supporting you. You cannot be a mother who is not building a nation, and you bring up Kuti, Dine, Nduku, charity. That's just a facade. 8 million Ushi Tamba Nodo with 8 million when the hospital is struggling there. And you let your husband, that med to Kuisa Pamotkari, that med, it costs a lot of money. And you let your husband do that. A failure of a man, when you kana usinga control murumo wako, then you are a failure. And I will talk about it, attend about all these girls, they are abused. Anyone who says anything wrong to them, which is not wrong. This is wrong. If it's wrong, it's wrong. No one wants to be in this country. We're all educated. We've got lawyers and very professionals in South Africa. We've got plenty of guys there in South Africa, big bankers. Why are you here? In South Africa, they're killing Zimbabweans. We look like we are because we fear. At times, we are already dead. So there's nothing to fear. We just have to pinpoint, my guy, we just need a few people. Look at Julius Malema. The people like that, we need to build the confidence. The confidence that we have, yes, I understand, but after all, it can be good for me. But how about my mother, my sister, it comes back to us. So if we don't do anything about it, then we just I don't understand why they allowing her to come here, which is very bad. We've been petitioning for this. We've got a lot of people who are in my brains. Yes, I understand some people are afraid, but I'm not even afraid If someone gives me a gun now, go and shoot that guy, then I'll die. We need to have people who are confidence, who are not out of no, this is nonsense. You, Mbuya, and if you need to retire, run away from the country. If you know the story of Romania, what happened in Romania way back, Shevchenko was doing the same thing. It's more like history repeat. But she ended up walking in the street and the whole country said, "Good, anompa lift, anomtengesera kana anything shop market, we're gonna kill you." She died a beggar. And this woman has to do the same thing. The husband is a cruel guy. He was hiding behind Mugabe. Mugabe, he was stupid. They're all in the same bandwidth. So how can we allow people to keep on doing the same thing over and over? Some of us were not even 40 years old. This is our life. We're looking for a better future. Civil war. It becomes from this. Whichever political parties, we just have to come together and say, no, this is not just, we don't want this anymore. Kana mukadzi yeye ane pfungwa dzinoshanda anofana kuudza muromo wake kuti izvi azviiti baba. Hit the road. After all, his time iri padhuze izvo, so he will not last for the next 2 years. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much for that. We have real issues about our beloved Zimbabwe. But I'm just going to ask Barbara to come on now.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Pete, for allowing me to speak. I won't take much of your time. I just wanted to touch on the issue that. Sorry, she's far away. Can you hear me?
I think you need to. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Pete, for this opportunity. And this is a very wonderful space where we are discussing about the issue of AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA coming to the UK. Is it tomorrow and 18th? Is it? Yeah. I'm also one of the people that are perplexed why AUXILLIA must be regarded as one of Africa's most influential women, and that she's championing sustainable futures. Which futures is she sustaining? Which is she championing? Which sustainable futures is she sustaining? When we have our children, the youths in Zimbabwe, that have their future, the future that has been destroyed by my drugs. We know what's happening to our children in Zimbabwe. And we know who the drug lords are. It's ZANU-PF people that are these drug lords. And we know the reason why they are doing this to the youth, so that they can stay, drunk and keep quiet. Because we know that in every struggle, it is the youth that emancipate people. The youth
because they are young and energetic. Ndivo vanokwanisa kusunungura nyika. Tikada kutarisa history yenyika dzakawanda, it is the youth. Tikada kutarisa vana Mnangagwa wachona vari kutoka sunungura Zimbabwe nana Chiwengo pavakasunungura Zimbabwe vanga vari mayouth. But tingori now nanas, they are still there. They were there when they were youth and they're still there. So it's very how long? So it's very, very disturbing that they are still sorry guys. Sorry. So the youths are not being effective because of Mwanami Toriro yavari kutora, yavari kutengeserwa tumbwa, tavari kuswera vachimwa, and kuna mabasa, they are not being productive, and yet Auxilia is championed as one of the most influential women in Africa, and her husband Mrs Mnangagwa very busy. They are looting the minerals of Zimbabwe, and people are suffering. The hospitals have got no drugs. Children are dropping out of school. Parents can no longer afford to take their children to school. And yet she is the mother of the nation. She's quiet. She's quiet. She's content. She doesn't even give a damn. She doesn't care. And yet they are inviting her. What for? What sustainable features is she championing when the husband is busy killing the country? It's so sad. I have a solution, guys. Let's follow the organizers of this summit. Let's follow them. And let's write whatever we want to write on X. They've got an X account, a Facebook account. I've just did my research, and I've started writing something on their X. Let's even the MPs. I'm told that the Labour MPs, some of the Labour MPs will be there. Let's go there. Let's go to even the Prime Minister's account. Social media is very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. Because within a short space of time, you will have reached hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people. Yeah. I've read a comment where someone was saying these demos are not effective, blah, blah, blah. And you hear such comments, people are criticizing people that are making an effort to change things in Zimbabwe. There are so many ways of killing a cat, So let's do the social media campaign, protest, and you will see she will not come. She will not come. If we intensify this social media campaign, believe you me, Auxilia will not address, or she will not even come. Even if she's already in the country, because the summit, I understand, is it tomorrow? Is it 17 and 18? So I'm so angry and so disturbed by even the organizers and even the UK government on its own. They should bar these people from coming. Why would they want to enjoy other people's democracies when they are coming from their country where their husbands are dictators? It's so sad. Thanks, Pet.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, sometimes with these things, it's money. I think it was you, Babsi, that mentioned, I don't know, or somebody mentioned that the patron would have paid. So we wouldn't be surprised if Mrs AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA maybe paid 20,000, 30,000 pounds to come. But we are going to dig You know, the group of UK Diaspora activists are an amazing bunch of people, and they've been doing quite a lot of work. And they're all here. So we've got John on Zro, we've got Panika Shami. So, you know, you can follow them. I think when you speak, maybe say, I'm one of the organizers, if you're comfortable doing it, and then people can follow you. But it's not stopping now. We are going after the organizers of the FLAIR Summit in the UK. One of them is called Dr Yvonne Thompson CBE, and she's linked to a lot of organizations. And also, she's a patron of many things. And one of the ways we've been trying to attack her is to go that, do you know that this person who sits on your board, this is what they are doing. It takes time. This kind of fight for change takes a long time. So if it doesn't happen within 3 months, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen within a year. So thank you so much for that. So our next speaker is Panika, and then Reynard, and then after that, Mudara. Thank you. I don't know if Panika is here. If you can hear me, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Patricia, for giving me the opportunity to speak. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are. Very loud and clear.
Thank you for giving me the floor. I'm one of the organizers. I'm part of the committee that is organizing this demonstration, working with Patricia and other people from Zoro, John Beck, for example, and we also have people from ZAPU, CCC, etc., etc. What I was going to say, I'm sorry I came in late by 10 minutes, so I'm not sure what has been covered. But listening to speakers, something stood out, which I think I need to address. This is to do with people not turning up for demonstrations here in the UK, and also people seemingly not taking action in Zimbabwe. I'll start with the Zimbabwe scenario first. I think we need to appreciate that the democratic space in Zimbabwe is literally closed. We know what has happened since Mnangagwa came into power. You will remember the shooting when demonstrators were shot dead in broad daylight in 2018, probably 2019. I'm no longer sure of the specific date. But that on its own means the person in Zimbabwe fears going onto the streets because the consequences are dire. They will be shot. Then we also know that people who have been outspoken have been detained for a long time without facing trial and only to be released later. We have the latest case was of Blessed Mhlanga. We also had Rockwell Chingono, Namatai Kwekweza, etc. So many of them. So what they do is they will detain somebody, and that person's life from that point onwards is on hold. Unfortunately, they will be on their own. Remember, these people would need to be fending for their families. But once they are detained, the bail conditions that they are eventually given are so onerous, they simply have no life. They have to be reporting to the police very regularly. Their travel documents are taken. They are probably no longer attractive to potential employers because of their history. So we need to empathize with the people in Zimbabwe. And that brings me to the point that we in the diaspora, we need to realize that it's now, the onus is now on us to take up the fight, because those on the ground in Zimbabwe are handicapped. So we need to take the responsibility as the diaspora to be taking the lead in this fight, which I'm glad we are doing, for example, by organizing this space and by organizing the demonstration against AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA. Then talking about the people in the UK not participating, some of the reasons are financial. life in this country is very, very difficult. You find that if somebody doesn't go for a shift, it might mean they are not able to pay their bills. So we need to consider that. Yes, there are many who, once they attain maybe their status, they feel they have reached their destination. They no longer care about what's going back, what's taking place in Zimbabwe. But I want to believe that there is a sizable number that do not participate because of genuine reasons, and one of the main reasons is financial. So I think as leadership, it's something that we will be discussing. There must be ways. I'm going to be making proposals to the other leaders so that probably we find ways of probably mobilizing funds. I think if we pay attention to that, we should be able. It's something that is doable. We have seen other organizations from other nations, other diaspora communities mobilizing funds, and when they go for demonstrations, they go in their hundreds or potentially thousands, and that is because they've got funding for that. I think it's something that we will be looking into. But like one of the speakers said, and like what Patricia said, it doesn't happen in a day. We need to appreciate that it is a process. We should count ourselves lucky that we have those few people that are still very committed. I think that on its own means we can still grow, and we will reach the numbers that we want to reach. I will now go into AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA herself. Obviously, I believe most people on this platform are against her coming to the UK. I'm one of them. I'm very I get to the point of being angry actually when we have people masquerading as saviors of nations when they are the opposite. And that is AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA is one such individual. I refer to as the matriarch of corruption in Zimbabwe. She sits as literally as it falls in every sector of the economy. There is no thriving business in Zimbabwe in any sector that does not pay some kind of teeth to the first family, whether directly or indirectly. They work through proxies like the weakness vials, and they run a system of tenderpreneurship whereby government tenders, they don't follow the tender procedure. They literally are handpicked. We have, for example, the drugs scandal in 2020 during the COVID time, where a 60 million contract was awarded to drugs, which was headed by Dennis Nguaya. That's one good example. Right now, we have the Geo-Pomona Waste Management contract, which is in Harare City Council. The first family is making millions a day from that contract. We obviously all know about gold mafia. She was involved, and she is still involved directly. We also have many other tenders going on in Zimbabwe where the first family is benefiting, and that is primarily why our economy has collapsed. It's because there is no accountability on the part of the leadership, especially the first family. They are literally pocketing what is supposed to be national resources. So as a country, we are suffering because there is no funds available for the public services that somebody was talking about. The health sector is collapsed. the maternal mortality rate is said to be 960 per 100,000 live births. You can look at any sector, and there's no life in any sector as we speak. Our country is on this need. And then we have this Auxilia Mnangagwa coming here and pretending that she is the savior of our nation. I think we really need to go there and tell it to her face that she is not wanted here. And when I Summit website, they are talking of, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, 17 of them. They are talking of probably some of their speakers, if not all. They are being said to be champions for those SDGs. And when you look at what are they are, for example, they are saying no poverty. They are saying zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic development. They are talking of climate, and they're talking of peace, justice, and strong institutions. All of the things they are talking of in terms of SDGs in Zimbabwe, you can't really say there has been any progress. You can't pick any one of those goals and say there has been any progress. If anything, we are walking in the opposite direction versus those sustainable development goals. So on that account only, just on that account alone, Auxilia Mnangagwa cannot come to a platform that is talking about these SDGs and pretend to be a champion, especially when she is pretending to be representing a nation. Madam Chair, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I hope we are all going to meet on Tuesday, the 17th. June, this coming Tuesday at the LEONARDO Hotel, and we should be telling Auxilia to her face that we don't want her here, and we are not happy with what is happening in Zimbabwe and what she is causing in Zimbabwe. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much for that. And I think one of the things that I really resonated with me was when you talked about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I also read those, and I thought to myself, as a long-term strategy, we probably need to focus on the UK co-organisers, because they do this event apparently every year. In August, that same event is going to Kenya, but in Kenya we can't do anything. And then next year it's going to come back here. So if we can try and dismantle all of that, so that this probably is our last, if she is in the country already, that this is the last time that she can come to these events. So thank you so much for that. We're now going to move on to Reynard and then Bule. I think Udara is dropped off somehow.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I dropped off from around.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. All I wanted to ask is what happened to sanctions, which the British were actually applying in tandem with the Americans? That's something that we need to ask, and probably, for you guys in the UK, some of you are powerful enough there, even to throw this one in the British Parliament. Because, if Blessed could be discussed in the Parliament, why can't they discuss the first family and its evil nature, from drugs to corruption to people who are being massacred in Zimbabwe? Because, we have reached a critical point here. Because if you're listening to Tatenda is not the only one, the way that he's speaking. If you're listening also, there's Martin. If you listen to some of these people, and even the way that we interact, you find that we are in a nation which is traumatized because of the guns and the violence in our country. And we can't continue on that trajectory. And the people who are inflicting this trauma are actually in Zimbabwe. They are the first family. So we need now to come, to an awareness whereby we actually alert the world to say, listen, we can't continue suffering this trauma. If it means be discussed in the British Parliament or even at Downing Street, the better. Because I know right now, even as I'm speaking right now, somebody will come here and start telling, I know she's a good person, they are doing this, they are doing that, hey, what can you do? But the reality is actually reflected by what is happening in our social structures, like the hospitals and even some other amenities. The social structures, if you see the legislations which are out of touch with our own African values. Even our own colonial laws, they are still prevailing up to now, and they are the ones which are actually making us actually be oppressed as much as we are. So more, I mean, we need also now to start introducing these things of actually bringing a healing to our people, especially even some who are in the diasporas, because right now we can't even, I'm not saying now, but I mean on other spaces, we fail actually to interact. That is something that has been caused since independence, because Mnangagwa has been the one, he tells you he is the one who championed all these things of the Secret Service, up to Gukura Wundi, up to wherever and up to wherever. We've got secret organizations like the British, maybe after this thing of the Deco and the Americans and actually the decoupling of these people, taking a different stance now to Zimbabwe. I don't know whether it's because the world is now multipolar and including the gold system. I don't know. Maybe they want the resources there and the gold and the first family actually trades in gold. They know that. So whatever type of democracy they are now calling it, dictatorship, whatever, I don't know. That system now, the British are now taking advantage of that system and actually trying now to make it to ensure that, I mean, whatever system is prevailing there, it can stay because of the fragmentation of the world. We can't actually be held liable to that, and we can't actually be used by systems that we know. It's time that we start decoupling. And it's time, I think, probably they in the UK start, because you know actually the future there is actually, with whatever is happening, it's not actually rosy. So it's either you fight from that platform, and no matter wherever we are in the diaspora, we have to fight in whatever platform, because whatever is happening to the world is actually a serious, what do they call it? Seismic shift, Pastor Irenlo. You see? So I think that's what we need to do, Madam Chair. I think that is my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. And you've raised some really good questions. So the question of why Mnangagwa's government or administration is not mentioned in Parliament is because it's a sovereign country. And so there are certain things that they can't talk about. That's why they raise the issues of human rights abuses. So those are always raised in Parliament. So that's one. With the sanctions, and please others later on, please come in and make your comments, the organizers, around the sanctions. We all know that these are targeted sanctions against individuals and their companies. So there's a whole big list there, not against the country. And so Zimbabweans are trading with the UK. There's so many things that are happening. I buy vegetables that have come from Zimbabwe here in the UK. And so maybe for one day we can talk about sanctions on another space. But I'm going to bring up Mdara, because Mdara did come before Bule. He's been here a long time, or she has been here for a long time. So Mdara, please, and then Bule. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, organizers, and thank you very much, Change Radio. It's a great opportunity being with people who have like minds, which is what Change Radio stands for. And I see Auxilia trying so much to get to the UK on a PR campaign. But that PR campaign is tantamount to nothing, because she remains on the Magnitsky sanctions, an executive order. It's called EO 131818. And this is because of her association with her husband. They're married, isn't it? So we want to look at these Magnitsky sanctions and what they say, and whether what they say allows them, these shameless people, to associate with people even. Zimbabwe sanctions were lifted. I mean, the country were lifted on in March 2024. Zidera then was adjusted to include only a few very bad individuals. I think Mr Mnangagwa is the only sitting president who has been imposed or been slapped with such sanctions, and incidentally, his wife is also part. Some people will be jumping on to say, oh no, it's human rights, abuse of human rights. Unless we don't understand what human rights are, what is happening in Zimbabwe is distressing. It's something that would be done only in the Stone Age period. Another speaker was almost talking about what's going on with women, what's going on with girl child or the girl child in Zimbabwe. She talked about marriages or underage marriage and rape and other things that are going on without the government or Mnangagwa as the top government saying anything. And we also can talk about the theft of Zimbabwe land after a chaotic redistribution of land. Now, and these are the things that are listed in the sanctions that are imposed on Auxilia Mnangagwa. The first person on sanctions is what do you call his name? ED, Emmerson Mnangagwa. The second person is Auxilia Mnangagwa, and yet Auxilia, with, if you look at the raft of reasons or the raft of the reasons for imposing those sanctions, everything bad that we have said or speakers have said here is mentioned in those sanctions. And yet we will allow ourselves as Zimbabweans that person to represent us, because she goes there not in an individual capacity as Auxilia, but she is invited as Zimbabwe by whoever invited that. Shall we allow that? I remember back then, nothing of that nature would ever pass our eye. We could start our demonstrations first at the Strand and then go on to those people's houses, and then we would cut their hedge and tarmac their driveway, if you know that lingo. That's exactly what Mnangagwa's wife needs to be shown. We cannot sit back because the United States, in its impositions of the sanctions, it talks about corruption. It talks about illicit financial flows. It talks about plunder of resources. This is a foreign nation that is talking about what is going on in here. And also some speakers mentioned names as they went deep into venting their angers on corruption and destruction of our economy by a clique or a few individuals. And of course, the abuse of human rights, which include the massacres that are well documented, that some speaker talked about when he talked about. All those things are around the Mnangagwas, especially the mother or the wife and husband. And do those people then automatically qualify to represent us at international fora? Whatever is written on their website, Angel of Hope, in pursuit of United Nations or SDGs, as you may want to call them, it's rubbish. They wrote them. That is not approved by the world. So what we need to do, if you are in the UK, if you are an activist, if you can, if need be, let's help each other and stop this nonsense. It is nonsense in that she's representing herself. She wants to exercise her own self. She wants to clean her own image, but it's an image. It is difficult to clean for as long as Mnangagwa is doing what, or the government is doing what it is. As long as there are abductions, as long as there's torture, as long as there's jailing or imprisonment of people, as long as there's judiciary capture, as long as there are cartels. If it was permissible and if there was time, we could have, or I could have stated a huge or a barrage of attack on the economy by these two and the elite. There are some things that are happening that most of you might not even know, even when you look at our GDP, if you look at our GDP, if you look at the contributions to our GDP by sector in percentage, you'd then realize that we need to uprise as Zimbabweans and save ourselves. Someone talked about Bikita minerals in Bikita. It's a shame. Someone would talk about Malaysia. It's a shame. They are allocating themselves a looting point. Lithium, I am just about to post something on this issue of lithium and resources, exploitation of resources and other. It's a shame. And there's no reason why Zimbabwe is in the state in which it is, and yet we would allow, and some people would come here and say AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA is the right candidate to talk about Zimbabwe or represent Zimbabwe. We need to stop that, because there are so many sensible or people with good sense out there that see why, that have reasons why we cannot allow these people to gallivant the world speaking about Zimbabwe as if they are super Zimbabweans. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your contributions. Really appreciate that, especially when you talk about the GDP. I mean, there's so much that people have said, but we need to move on to the next speaker, who's going to be Bule, and after Bule, Charles, Signoro, and Vengai. Thank you. I don't know if Bule is here. I've seen your hand, Shamiso, but you know, we've got people that haven't spoken. So if you want to make a contribution, can I just give you 1 minute, please? Because we've got a list. So after you will be Charles, and then Signoro, and then Vengai. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you, Patricia. I think from what I've been hearing from the speakers, or most of the speakers, honestly, people are, we can't be too soft on AUXILLIA. There's no reason why she should come here, and we have to go and demonstrate that on Tuesday. There's no excuse whatsoever, because she's the evil behind everything. There's people always say behind every successful man there is a strong woman who is supportive there. So if she's supporting the husband to do whatever he's doing right now, honestly, for me, there's no room for us to be patient or to really listen to this AUXILLIA. She's the evil behind everything. She has never for once corrected the husband. She has never for once spoke about all these abuses, all these rapes, all these abductions. She's quiet. People are lavishing in they're being taken and put in prison for no good reason. They spent years there for no good reason. She has never, as a woman, who spoke out to say no, or even spoken to the husband on their own, in their own small bedroom there, to say, please listen to this, because we have seen he has been like he doesn't even listen, like he has no feelings, no emotions. Why do you allow somebody to be in prison and judged for 2 years and you just keep quiet? As a woman, she must be feeling that in a womb that no, this woman, this person is somebody's wife's husband, somebody's son, somebody's brother. But she has been quiet. She has never said a word. So please, for this AUXILLIA, we really need to come out and speak in her face and tell her that she's not a loving, a caring woman. She's just as good as the husband, an idiot. Thank you. Sorry for the emotions, but I'm so hurt about it. She's one woman that I don't respect. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you'll have a chance to speak later on. So please, can I ask Charles, and then Signoro, Vengai, and then Tyrone. Tyrone, we have a list that we follow, so we will come to you. I won't be able to put you up to speak. I've seen your hand. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Post.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. I think this trip is one trip that none of us here really understand why the trip is happening in the first place. We have our suspicions, of course, but as activists, most of us in here are activists. As activists, we need to embrace the new climate for activists. Activism now has changed, I believe, because of the changes in politics and economics. We used to have, as activists, support of the government. For example, the United Kingdom government, we used to have full support as activists. But the changes in politics mean that the UK government now is part interested in what Zimbabwe as a country, dictator or not, has to offer them. They want that as well. So we need to realize that we do not have 100% support from the government here. In the past, all these things we are doing now would get lots of publicity. Sometimes in parliament, we would get lots of publicity. But things have changed and they have moved on. I really like what Tatenda, the previous speaker, Tatenda Changambika, said earlier on. He said that the UK is more interested in regaining resources that were lost during the Mugabe time. They're trying to make ground because there's that threat from China, from Russia, from all the countries we know are rising now. So I really think for us to make as much noise as we can is even more important now than it was, because we're only relying on our noise at the minute. That's why it's important for us to go to attend this demonstration in as large numbers as we can. Also, Mdaraji mentioned that if we look at Zimbabwe, the general contribution of specific sectors to the GDP will point you towards where, as a country, we are losing money, where the corruption is. If we really break it down to specific sectors, we will know where we are losing money. We already know, but it will be there for us to see clearly. So I think on Tuesday and Wednesday, when we do these demonstrations, we need to bring out our all these points, articulate them. If there is media, I'm hoping there will be powerful enough media for us to be able to put these things across. Maybe we'll get a little bit of support in the higher offices. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So we've had, with regard to media, we've had some interest in media. I think one of the media companies that I'm really finding to be very friendly and helpful is South African media. So, they've been reaching out to us and they wanted to know more. They are interviewing two of the organizers tomorrow morning. So we've really it's been good. With the British media, it's hard work to get their interest. But what we are glad about is that we've got interest from some lords. So Lord Johnny Olds, we've got some interest from them. There's a few other MPs who are interested, and they are speaking, in the way that they can, using every opportunity that they can to get these issues the ears of the British government. So thank you, Charles. Bule is back, so I'm going to ask Bule to speak.
Can I just butt in for literally 1 minute? I have to congratulate Charles for what he said. We've done about 20 different petitions over the last 2 years, and I am sick to death of our own government. They have given up completely. We are neutered by the UK government. They have given in to minerals and money themselves. They don't care about the democracy. They don't care about the dictatorship anymore. So we have to move on. The only move we can make is the United Nations and other countries. But I'm more than angry about the UK government and what's just happened. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And to add to that, we found out last week that there is a meeting tomorrow in the House of Lords, but it is private House of Lords meeting. And so when it is a private House of Lords meeting, people like Johnny Oates, who are pro-democracy, are shut out. So he knows there's a meeting happening, but he doesn't know what room it is. He doesn't know who the lords are that are going to be meeting with some people, including AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA. So if she's there, she's going to be in a private meeting at the House of Lords. So to your point, John, about the British government giving up and just going with the flow, it is happening and it's true. So come on, Bule, and then from Bule we'll go to Senior Rovengai Tyrone. Sorry, everyone, but Bule was here for a very long time and then she sort of dropped off. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit. I'm sorry about that. In fact, there's a geopolitical shift in the position of the United Kingdom. This is in view of the wars that are taking place and the need to augment. I think there's a mention, this is the post that I'm going to do, please like it or so. But the British government has now come back to participate on lithium and antimony. Please mention antimony and lithium. These are the reason and the causes that they are behaving as they are doing now. And only America is the one really helping our people. Please mention that if you can. If you inbox me, I'll also give you statistics about our contributions to the GDP and how these guys have blundered to the extent that Chris Mnangagwa has built Manise and he has destroyed Redcliffe, if you know, or Zisco Steel, if you want. And Mnangagwa has built Bikita Minerals and they've destroyed any other. Please DM me, then I can give you the statistics official. I was with Farai Mugu, who is an activist on the environment and minerals exploitation. We discussed extensively and then we appeared together on the site space on the same issue. Please, if you want more, just DM me, I will give you the statistics. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will definitely do that. Thank you. So Bule, please, and then Senior Rovengai and Tyrone.
Thank you so much. My name is Tyrone. I'm
No, Tyrone, you're not speaking. You're the last person to speak. People have been here for over an hour and a half. I did say Bule. I think she's dropped off. So please, Senior Ro, and then Vengai, and then after them, Tyrone, you will speak. Thank you.
Thank you, hosts. I acknowledge the presence of fellow Zimbabweans here. Allow me to greet you all, revolutionary greetings to all of you. I would just want to remind fellow Zimbabweans that we have a long journey that speaks to road to freedom. It's not a one-day event, it's not a one-man band, it requires a collective. Thank God, I'm sure we are gradually getting to a point where we have probably like minds, common ground. And one thing that we should always remember, in my view, is whatever we do, elections, Western democratic system will not solve our problems. Today I'm hearing, people talking of protests, demonstrations. That is aligned to a revolutionary stance. And it is my humble opinion that probably we should begin to have discussions that clearly differentiates the two approaches. If you want to go the democratic system, you cannot apply the revolutionary, rule matrix. It does not work. It's either you decide to follow the legal process, which I call legal process, the Western democratic system, or the semi-legal process, which is revolution. fighting for your rights, because talking, petitions, anything that speaks to that will not free, will not free Zimbabweans, will not free us from this level. To me, it is level. Now, my leadership here was I want to highlight something. This situation that we are going through in Zimbabwe is complicated. And I think someone here can agree with me. Without any, I don't have to hesitate to word for word to say what the House of Lords said. They pronounced the situation in Zimbabwe as complicated. They said the situation in Zimbabwe is complicated. I think that came out in 2016-17, if I'm not mistaken, or 2015-2016. And I think anybody who thinks deep where we are coming from, the challenges that we are having now, things that we've discovered, yet to discover, surely we should fight with that in mind. It's not a walk in the park. It's very complicated. How is it complicated? It's some of the things, in my view, that are coming out here. Let me remind you, rather, urge you Zimbabweans to be very careful in fighting this system. Let's avoid legitimizing. Unless maybe I'm out a bit, I would like to be corrected, but what I'm hearing, the moment I start saying, or anybody starts saying, my Mnangagwa should have done this, oh, she doesn't care about this, and I want responses, either acknowledgement what I'm saying or maybe correction. Are we not legitimizing? Who is she, other than being a first lady? She's just a first lady. I want to repeat, are we not legitimizing because of anger, emotions, and all that? What it sounds like we are asking her to do certain things. Then if she do certain things, then are we then realizing that we then accept her representing us as who? We should be questioning. She's just a first lady. I'll take you back, hosting fellow Zimbabweans here. Look, we need to follow these things historically. My Mnangagwa issue starts in Belarus. I would say it's a pity I'm treated like a third-class citizen in my country, because for me to understand what is she doing in Belarus then, nothing was said. But signing deals for the country as who? As a minister with that portfolio, I would like to know. So we need to be very sober and understand if it is a total rejection, it must be clear. But we should not even care to question if he really cares about people being in prisons and all that. Yes, as a first lady, as am I. But not in line, the same line that we are questioning, because there is an open secret that speaks to the West was very scared during Mugabe's time. They could not touch Mugabe. And I miss Mugabe, by the way. And I'm working on a project, book that speaks to Robert Mugabe. You can't talk of Mugabe in isolation. Very controversial figure. A lot of things that are being said, riddles, but not coming out. He was given a knighthood. Nobody cares to explain to us what a knighthood is. But he locked them outside to say, look, I can't do this to my people. Go to hell. The list is long, what you know RG would say. Yes, truly so. They couldn't get what they are now getting. Right? The current administration, unless if somebody convinces me, which is very difficult, they have sold out. They have sold out every minute, every second. That is an open secret which we need to really, embrace ourselves and say, no, this should not happen. But they're using a political system, in my view. Why political system? I'm saying he cannot be recognized as a government official. She's not a government official, unless I'm missing something here. To me, this voice, this tone, it speaks to a total rejection. Where does she fit in? Then it's explained to me that she fits in here, there, maybe lack of thereof, and don't understand the role of a first lady other than just being a first lady. It's an honorary thing. So, but if we're on the same page, I think we need to exercise our anger. I want to land on this note. I've always been of the view that in Zulu, it's something that I've heard, which I borrowed. Hit the dog and you will know the owner. Protests have to be intensified. I'm inspired when I hear people now who are beginning to think of protests from the outside world. Oh, by the way, and unapologetically so, there are no human rights. They are applied, given to you, which again, human rights are not given, freedom is not given. But they purport to be, right, protecting Zimbabwe, but they then forget about us, forget about human rights. They carry on signing deals. They wine and dine at night, while it's during the day they speak a language that we don't like each other. I want to come back here and explain something that people, again, I don't know why. Mudara, I'll point out to you, Zimbabwe is not under sanctions. When you talk of sanctions, let's not legitimize the bullish approach by the United States of America. There's executive orders, which its effect is the same as a country that is under sanctions. There's only one rule matrix. The United Nations has structures. A country that is under sanction, that is properly pronounced under sanction, is a country that is listed under United Nations. Zimbabwe is not on the list of sanctions. But technically, because of the effects which are equally the same, we want to turn and call executive orders, which are specific and directives that are coming from the directives are coming from United States. We need to separate that. I'm not saying it from the blues. We were there. I did not pioneer the fight for sanctions. I joined at a very early stage. And we took it from Guy Georges, who single-handed fought sanctions. And we're all aware that we are being made to believe that Zimbabwe is under sanctions. And yet it is under executive orders. And it is, again, an excuse to hide behind those executive orders. Zimbabwe can do better. It is the richest soil on the planet. I use my mic for now. Thanks.
Host, can I rebut on the issue of sanctions, please?
We've got a really long list and we'll be closing soon. So it's got to be 30 seconds because we've got people to
thank you. Thank you very much. Signoro Zimbabwe obviously was removed by the United States from Zidera on March 24. So the sanctions are not necessarily legitimate only if they are issued by United Nations. Any country can sanction another country, just like America has sanctioned Russia. EU, some countries in EU have sanctioned Russia. They remain sanctioned. They don't necessarily have to go to the United Nations. Who is under sanctions now? And remember, if it is an executive order by the President of the United States, remember, at the end of Second World War, the United States they came up with a program, I'm not SWIFT or IBAN. That is a pain if you are doing business, especially if they are doing business, those that are under sanctions. Their monies will not be cleared and their monies will not move and they won't be able to do business. It will actually be flagged. You see, before it could take you 2 months, 3 months, to even when you did not, or when you were not under sanctions, it could take a long time. And then business was slowed in Zimbabwe. Many countries do not want even up to now to trade with Zimbabwe because it's difficult to remit or send money to Zimbabwe. So it's a sanctions issue can be a topic on its own which we can discuss. Thank you.
I concur. We can move on. Subject on its own, then we can argue and iron out things.
Thank you so much. So next to speak is the Ngai, and then Tyrone, Tatenda, Chief Shoshe, and then Milton. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Hi, everyone on the platform. I'm sorry I joined a bit late. I'm one of the organizers for this protest against AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA attending the FLAIR Summit. What I'm going to say might have been said by other organizers who are on this platform. AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA is not the rightful speaker to stand on this platform to give evidence about women empowerment and women human rights. As we all know, as Zimbabweans, we have suffered 40 years of human rights abuse, and no one has spoken about it. If you fight about those human rights abuses, you find yourself behind bars. So women have been abused, and everyone else, journalists have been abused, activists have been abused, and no one has the right to speak about it against the current regime on the ground in Zimbabwe, and you would find yourself behind bars. We would say we are a democratic country, but we don't observe democratic principles. Why? And we have gone down that line for 40 years. My call now to all Zimbabweans is to get united and fight this injustice. AUXILLIA is not the rightful speaker. So many women have been abused in Zimbabwe, but she remained silent. She didn't even defend them or speak a word. Even people, women of high profile have been abused, but she remained silent. So what is she coming to tell us here, or to tell the world about? Yet she remains silent when women she is supposed to be defending are abused day in, day out. Thank you, my speaker. I leave you with that. Thank you. Zimbabweans, we should meet in London. We'll be there. Let's unite and fight this injustice. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ngai, for that. And so, who's the next person? Tyrone, if you're still here. Okay, I think Tyrone has gone.
I've got a question, host.
Okay.
Maybe I will direct it to the previous speaker. Somebody gave an example in Raji, the issue of cutting hedge, and I can't remember what else he said. The action that is going to be taken. I'll give an example. In my crazy world, I always imagine this situation where you close business of the day down the street. You close business of the day at the White House. That will probably raise a signal These are just examples. Because I'm personally tired of talk shows. You beat the drums, we laughed at they laugh at us as as crazy dogs. They carry on with the business of the day. They walk away. What strategies? What is it that will really? What is on the ground? What is on the table that will really raise an alarm that no, something has to be done here, because this is a cry, a loud cry by Zimbabweans. I just want to understand what strategies are there that will make a difference to say no. Imagine if it closed business, not necessarily on this visit, on a day to say no business down the street, surely they'll call the embassy. I'm just saying as an example, what strategies are there in place so that it becomes effective? Many thanks.
But you, if I've got this right, you talk about closing business. Closing businesses in Zimbabwe? Because in the UK...
When I say Downing Street, I mean Downing Street. If it's in Zimbabwe, it's closing business at Munumtapa.
Yes.
You know, today is Tuesday, there's cabinet. You think there's no cabinet today.
Yeah, but
so I'm saying closing business of the day in that particular country business.
But they won't.
Today,
they won't, because it is not a national. What you need to understand about governments is that it's got to be something to do with a national issue. Here in the UK, when people protest, there are no businesses that close. Parliament doesn't close. But we can
ask me what business to close Parliament business. What I said by business, when I give an example of Munumtapa, cabinet business goes at Munumtapa on a Tuesday, every Tuesday. I'm not privy to what business, but national business, national programs. Let me put a simple term: programs that take place either on a weekly basis. Downing Street. When I say Downing Street, is clear. When I say Washington...
Signor, I really don't mean to be rude. Can you hold on to your question and then we can deal with it at the end when everybody else has spoken? Can we respect people that have been here quite a long time, and then we'll come back to that question? Thank you.
My apologies for disrespecting people. I'll yield my mic. Many thanks.
Thank you so much. So next, Tatenda, and then Chief and Milton, you're here.
Thank you, host. I won't be long. You know, the sad realities of how Mnangagwa and his family with Auxilia, who is a proxy president. Remember, Mnangagwa, there are issues of him having dementia. Auxilia's Mnangagwa trip to the UK, it's painful because they are using a hired plane or jet that will be paid per hour. Zimbabwe has no plane that can travel to Europe. The plane that they bought in 2020 after Simbarashi Chikore, Bona's husband, got involved with the Malaysians. They put them on auction. They are selling them on the 26th of June. Zimbabwe is going to lose roughly over 10,000 pounds per hour. 10,000 US dollars or pounds, I'm not sure of the rate, per hour to pay for that jet. And Auxilia will be in the UK not for 2 days, but roughly for 5 days. You will find out that in Zimbabwe there's a girl in Checheche, in Sanyati, in Binga, in Murewa, who doesn't have sanitary pads, and that girl does have to miss school when she is during that period because she cannot go to school. In other developed countries, even South Africa, who are next door where I spend years, you find sanitary pads in schools, girls given sanitary pads. There is no program in Zimbabwe where you know that the schools are equipped with sanitary pads, just like here in the UK, whereby public funds are channeled to the corrective pathways for the development of the people. We can pinpoint a lot of issues that our money is being used for no public development. Auxilia Mnangagwa, the twins are globetrotters that use public funds for their own personal businesses. Auxilia talks of empowerment. What empowerment is she giving to a girl child when a girl child misses school for 5 days when she is in her periods because her parents cannot afford to buy a pack of sanitary pads because girls start to have their periods from 12 years and above. Oh, what human rights is she coming to talk about here in the UK when she has failed to address human rights back home? When her husband, through his empowerment programs, is empowering the wrong Zimbabweans who are not in need. The right Zimbabweans who are in need are crying day in and day out. In Zimbabwe, roughly an ordinary family cannot afford 3 basic meals. The only meal a family can have is dinner or supper, which is usually maybe salad and vegetables. But you find out that Zimbabwe has got lithium, more than 50 trucks that are owned by the Mnangagwas, goes through Beira port to have lithium shifted to China, while Zimbabweans are suffering. Why did Zimbabweans die in the 2 liberation struggles? Why was Mbuyane and Sekuru Kaguvi and others killed? Why did Tongogara, Yebet Chitepo, Rekai Tangwena, and the others die for Zimbabwe when ZANU-PF, Idi Mnangagwa, who has been an architect of all the operation of Zimbabwe since 1980, take charge of Zimbabwe? Why has Zimbabwe regressed instead of progressing? Zimbabwe is regressing. And one speaker spoke about the FLAIR Summit being taken to Kenya in August. I'm not surprised because Ruto is another dictator. There is currently another tripartite which is formed by Ruto, the Tanzanian female dictator, and Mnangagwa. Because he sees people that think the same way with him. Ramaphosa realized that Mnangagwa is not good for him after ANC failed to reach 50+1. And he teached the language in South Africa is now different from the language that they were speaking before the Zimbabwean election and the South African elections. We need to continue to put pressure because it's only people who are in the diaspora who can be the voice for the voiceless. People back home, they cannot speak because the next thing they'll be arrested. Worst, we need to fight and to be the voice. When Zimbabwe was fighting for its liberation, the Radio Mozambique, which was used by comrades as a form of communicating with people back home, the diaspora. Let's put our political affiliations aside and fight for Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And so shall we move on to Chief, please, if you're here, and then to Milton. And we're going to be wrapping up in the next 15 minutes. So I'll come back around for the speakers that I've spoken previously and just give them 30 seconds to wrap up. So Chief, please, and then Milton. Thank you.
Thank you, Change Radio. And just by mentioning Change Radio, I'm compelled to thank Change Radio before I even go any further. I know you're celebrating your 5th anniversary. Thank you so much for the work that you have done. It's not Change Radio that we are thanking per se. It is the many volunteers across the world that are doing the work, that have been doing the work for the past 5 years. Change Radio has outlived our 2 political parties, which is something that you guys need to be congratulated for. Thank you so much. And I also want to applaud the spirit of volunteerism that I've seen being cultivated at Change Radio, because Change Radio has over 75 volunteers that do the work virtually. You can imagine how that is done, how it is possible to produce 5 languages or news in 5 languages every day for 5 years, and you don't have a physical newsroom. The newsroom, you know, the hustle and bustle that you see in newsrooms. It's not done anyway physically. It's being done virtually. The journalists in Zimbabwe that volunteer there, they give the information to someone who is in the United Kingdom, who put together the news, and someone in Poland joins the news, because you have to put together the voice notes and the news that has been read, that someone is maybe in the United States of America. So there are about 75 volunteers that are spread out across the world, in Africa, in Europe, in America, in Asia, everywhere. So thank you so much for that. If this model that depicts the spirit of volunteerism, if it can be replicated somewhere in our political organizations or in other organizations that we might think of that help us in our struggle, I tell you, we'll go a long way. So thank you so much for that. And let me also thank the organizers of the protests against MSM Mnangagwa. We want to thank you so much, especially for coming up with something like this at a time when everything is quiet. A lot of people right now are off the boil, if I may say so, have taken leave of politics, and we always make that mistake as Zimbabweans, that we go off the boil immediately after elections, and then everyone wants to be involved, everyone wants to do something, a year or two, or even a few months before elections. Here in America, where we are, when the Democrats lose, they start working, they start planning, they start doing all the work, all the hard work a day after they've lost the elections. So I think those are lessons learned. Those are things that we need to work on as Zimbabweans. So in that environment, you guys in the UK, you've seen it fit not to let MSM Mnangagwa get off the hook. Come to the United Kingdom, come to your zone of autonomy and do what she wants, and then go back to Zimbabwe and start doing what the Mnangagwas are doing. So it's something that I really, and everyone for that matter, should appreciate. We are doing that. We are seeing that at the backdrop of something that is very angering that is happening here in North America. We have Japresa coming to entertain Zimbabweans. Apparently, he's supposed to be, in DC and in Canada and in Dallas, Texas. And I've seen what is going on, the conversations that are going on in the groups. People are buying tickets. Zimbabweans are buying tickets. Even some of our activists, fellow activists, are buying tickets to go and be pleasured by Japresa. And you call yourself an activist who is fighting Ziganandas, who is fighting MSM Mnangagwa, who is fighting Mnangagwa, his family, and all the other people that are suppressing in Zimbabwe, suppressing Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe. You go and pay money to watch someone who is at the moment, a face of the Ziganandas. Because if he's accepting the money, I know some people will not agree with me, but that is just me. I just say my piece, whether you agree with it or not. But this is someone who is being used by the system, and he's receiving money, ill-gotten money that you know that it was not transparently gotten. It's money that is being stolen. It's money that is being laundered. It's money that should be going to the helping helping Zimbabwe. It's money that should be used for the Zimbabwean people, but it's money that is finding its way to the pockets of Ghanaians and to their bank accounts, and they come back to launder that money or to clean that money by buying people cars, by giving people like Japreza money, and they take it. And the moment they take it, it's an acknowledgement that what these people are doing is not wrong. It's not criminal. It is okay for you to steal and then you come back and give people money wherever you want it. Why are they not taking that money to the hospitals and buying medication? That's what I'm asking the people that are here in America. They are not doing that because that doesn't give them that much political mileage. What is happening with Japreza is, and all the other socialites, it's a political strategy meant, obviously, you know, to get the Zimbabweans, their followers, the people that follow them, the people that believe in them, that, you know, there is nothing wrong that is going on in Zimbabwe. So we have that big fight here, and some people, you know, are even saying very bad things. You know, I don't agree with what they're talking about, that they're going to call ICE to come and get the Zimbabweans arrested. I don't agree with that. I would not do it myself. But honestly, if those Zimbabweans are rounded up, I'll shed crocodile tears. You know, that's the truth. Because why are you going to support someone? You in the diaspora have been given an opportunity to make a statement, to tell Japreza that you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be taking this ill-gotten money. You know, you're given that opportunity to tell him, to send him that message, not only Japreza, but even other musicians, other socialites, that if they do this in Zimbabwe, they are not going to have a platform anywhere in the diaspora, even in Zimbabwe. Even those in Zimbabwe will start even boycotting. It's a simple boycott that I thought everyone here in North America was going to agree with. But no, we are on different levels. Other people are seeing nothing wrong with that. It is their right. It is their democratic right to go and do that. But what it just means is those people that are doing that, they've lost their locus standi to ever tell people in Zimbabwe on the ground that you have been given an opportunity to do something, to send a message, to make a statement against the Ghanaians, and you have failed to do that. You're prioritizing your pleasure, and you're going to support as Ghananda or a face of the Ghananda. Anyway, that was just beside the point. But it's related to what you guys are doing in the United Kingdom. You have shown that you are not going to, allow Mnangagwa to just come in the UK the way Japreza is coming. And you have said you're going to make a statement. You're going to tell the world. And I know a lot of people have always come back to us when we do demonstrations at the United Nations. Oh, you've been doing demonstrations at the United Nations for the past 20 years. What has that helped you? Oh, the people in UK are always demonstrating. Those people in UK, they are always demonstrating. How has that helped the struggle? It doesn't help. That's what the naysayers will come and say to you. And that's part of the reason why we don't end up having good numbers at our demonstrations, whether it's in UK or it's in North America. It's because of those people that move around whispering and talking about it on these spaces, saying demonstrations don't help. Demonstrations help. Demonstrations work. It's a way of putting pressure on the regime. The opposite is bad, because the opposite means we are saying there's nothing wrong in Zimbabwe if you're not protesting, if you're not doing anything, if you're not taking advantage of these situations to express yourself and tell the world that the way things are in Zimbabwe, we are not okay. We don't want. If you remain quiet, that's exactly what you'll be saying. That's the message you're sending. It's the same thing that happened when we, after the elections, we remained quiet. We didn't do anything. we are giving ZANU-PF an opportunity to go to these high-level meetings and tell SADC and tell international organizations that everything is okay in Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans have moved on from the elections. They are happy, they are okay. If they were not okay, you'll be seeing them demonstrating. Did you see any one person demonstrating? No. So it means we are okay. It is you, SADC. It is you guys who are trying to cause problems in our country. This is the reliable information I got from some of the people that are working at SADC headquarters. They expected Zimbabweans to come out in their thousands and demonstrate and protest, even when Parliament was taken over by Shabangu and ZANU-PF and everything. People still expected Zimbabweans to be in the streets, but we didn't get in there. So it limits what our leaders or anyone else who wants to help Zimbabwe should be doing, because they'll be saying ZANU-PF will just go to those meetings and tell them that everything is okay. But when they see protests, when they see you guys in the streets in London, in the streets everywhere else, they can't then say Zimbabweans are happy. So my plea to the people that are listening, especially those in the United Kingdom, please, let's go in our thousands. You know, everyone else. You know, I know most people, whenever we have demonstrations, even here at the United Nations, they will be telling you that we never heard about it. And that's true, which means we even ourselves as the organizers, let's up our game in terms of marketing ourselves, marketing the event, talking about the event. Let this not be the last space. Let's find ways of getting information to the people, to the community groups that are in the United Kingdom, even the church groups, those that say, oh, we don't do politics, or we don't do this and that. Let's find a way of getting our flyers there, because they just don't know. They're busy saying we don't do politics, but you know, politics is busy doing them, you know, in Zimbabwe. Even if they are here in the somewhere in the diaspora, their relatives are there, their friends are there. You know, politics is doing them. You yourself, you know, you're supposed to be, you know, preparing for your retirement, but you're not preparing for your retirement. You have that nice home in London, in Birmingham, in Washington, D.C., but you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing with your money that you can afford. You're not flying first class. You're not going to the holidays because you're busy subsidizing your relatives in Zimbabwe. So no matter however you see it, politics is doing you. So let's find a way of getting all the people involved. I like what Champion Patricia was saying, that you're planning to form a big group where all Zimbabweans will be in there, and if the different organizations want to do their separate things on their own, they can still do. But there should be one big group where all Zimbabweans meet. We don't want to see this situation where if one organization organizes a protest, only those in that particular, only those that are aligned to them will end up attending. We want all Zimbabweans, because these are matters for all Zimbabweans. These are national issues. And we want to see Zimbabweans saying, you know, if it is a protest, it is a protest for all of us all. If it is a protest in London, if it is a protest in Johannesburg, a protest at the United Nations, it must be a protest for all Zimbabweans across the political divide. The moment we realize that, the moment we begin to do that as Zimbabweans, you will see that we'll begin to have bigger numbers at our demonstrations, and our demonstrations will have more potent than they have right now. But let's not listen to those that say protests don't work. And as I finish, I want to emphasize again, please, if we have to do door to door, if we have to do phone-a-thons where you have a team of 10 people or 11 people or 20 people that are phoning people in London, in Birmingham, telling them to attend this protest. Let it be done. Thank you so much, champions, for being here. Just by being here, you are playing your part in our struggle. But thank you for organizing this protest. I wish I could be there, but those that can be there, let us be there. And I will definitely play my part and tell the relatives, my friends that are in the United Kingdom to go and be part of the demonstrations. And everyone here, there's someone in the UK, and you can actually start doing that right now. Let's not leave it to the organizers. Everyone must play a part and spread the message. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chief Sote. And thank you so much for recognizing Change Radio in the 5 years. Wow, we've come a long way. And, you know, everybody on the platform, Chief Shoshe is the machine behind Change Radio. He is so humble, very humble. You know, as you were speaking, I was just so touched with your humility, because you are the person that started this whole journey for all of us. And 5 years on, growing. Barbara also, she spoke. She's also a volunteer of many years on Change Radio. So they are people that are really dedicated to the cause, to, you know, passing information, to be human rights activists in their own way. And we wouldn't be Change Radio. We wouldn't exist if Chief Shoshe wasn't behind it. You know, everything needs funding, everything needs money, everything needs a leader, everything needs somebody behind it. And he is the man behind it. So thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you so much for your humility, because people stay because of the type of leadership. If you have good leaders leading you, you're more likely to stay. If the leadership is not great, people leave, and we have volunteers that have been there from day one and still going. So thank you so much for this. Lost for words. But anyway, we've got 2 more people to speak, and then I'll come round to everybody so that we can finish hopefully around 12:30. And so, Bule, please, I'm just going to give you a short time because I tried so many times to bring you on and I couldn't.
Yeah, it's sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
My apologies, I was having technical problems. Thank you so much for having me, Patricia, and Change Radio and everybody. I've been listening from start. Yes, a lot have been said. I'm already emotional, honestly. But I've already took my off day, and I've already made up my mind that I'll be there in this demonstration in London, the protest in London. So yeah. So myself personally, I don't see the reason why AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA should come in the UK. She can't represent us as Zimbabweans. She can't. I'm just angry right now. I'll just say a little bit brief about my mother. My mother, she was sick in Zimbabwe recently. In the hospital in Bulawayo, there was no medication, nothing at all. I had to spend a lot of money sending back home to treat my mother. I can imagine those people who don't have that support, you know, they've been dying. My mom, she's been telling me, she was lying there in bed, and some people, they were actually dying in her presence. Like, people, there's no money, there's nothing in Zimbabwe. And I'm so angry, and I'll be there in the demonstration. And I thank you, everybody here, and I thank to be part of this protest that is going to be there on Tuesday. And there's a lot of corruption, looting, torture, killings that are happening. And there's something that has been happening recently in Bulawayo. These youth who lost their jobs in the mines, they've been going around killing people. You know, they're actually taking stuff from people, stealing from people in the houses and killing people. Lots of people in Bulawayo, they've been killed. And including my mom, she's in Lubane. Recently, something happened there. My mom, she's a farmer. She's farming. She got these chickens, she got goats. Recently, I think is one of those people who have been chased away from the mines. They went there when my mom, she went away. She was in Bulawayo, she was sick. They stole all of her chickens, all of some of the goats at home. So can you imagine? People, these youth, they don't have jobs. I can't blame them. It's the government in Zimbabwe. I can't blame them. It's this Mnangagwa and their regime. You know, Auxilia coming here in UK to represent us as Zimbabweans. I see no point. There is no point whatsoever. So I'm happy that we are still in this fight. We need to fight a good fight as Zimbabweans. So thank you, Patricia. Thank you, everybody, for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pule, and thank you for always being an active activist, because you've been there for years. Yes. So thank you. Sorry to hear about your mother. Yeah. And you're so right when you say that you want to blame the thieves, but there's nothing for them. That's why we need to continue to raise our voice as much as we can. It does make a difference. It really does make a difference. People don't see it, but it does make a difference. So thank you so much. And Milton, please, you'll be the last speaker, and then I'll come to everybody that spoke before to round up. 30 seconds each. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Change Radio, for having me once again. I do apologize. Earlier on, I was traveling, so I was facing some technical issues. My apologies for that. I just wanted to also say, to start by saying good evening to all my brothers and sisters, and thank you very much for being here tonight. What brings us together is not just frustration. It's a deep sense of responsibility for our country. We are here to speak the truth about AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA'S attendance at the FLAIR Summit here in the UK, and what that really means for Zimbabwe and its people. And this is just a slap in the face for us Zimbabweans, simply because we know what AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA stands for, and her and her family, they are rotten to the core, and they have brought so much destruction to our country and pain to our people. Let's be very clear. AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA has no constitutional role in Zimbabwe. She was never elected. She holds no government office, yet she moves around like a minister, attending state functions, influencing public institutions, and acting as if she has authority over national policy. This is unconstitutional and extremely dangerous for us as a country. And it just shows you that the country is being run by imbeciles who are incapable of running a country effectively. Her involvement in state affairs is a clear sign that Zimbabwe is no longer being governed by rule of law. It's being run like a family cartel. It is a criminal cabal being led by the Mnangagwa family. AUXILLIA is not an innocent bystander. She is an extremely powerful actor in an intelligent system that is bleeding our nation dry every single day. Under her husband's rule, with her full participation, Zimbabwe has become a broken state. We have become a laughing stock amongst other notable countries. Hospitals have no medicine, schools have no resources, public workers earn less than the cost of transport, and you're talking about families surviving on less than $1 a day, which is ridiculous. Children faint in classrooms because they haven't eaten. Pregnant women are dying from treatable complications because clinics have no equipment, have no medicines. They just don't have the capability to be able to provide the standard of healthcare, or even a basic standard of healthcare. This is not a natural disaster. It's a man-made suffering caused by corruption at the very top. And AUXILLIA's sons are involved in gold smuggling, forex rackets, property laundering, you name it, they're involved in everything. Mining, illicit mining deals, they're involved in everything. They flaunt their wealth across social media, they travel to Dubai, they live lavish lifestyles, yet Zimbabweans are suffering daily. This is unacceptable, and it pains me. Then there's the likes of Wigno, given multi-million-dollar contracts for power stations that never work. We are facing longer blackouts in Zimbabwe. There's no accountability. Social media posts of these illicit tenderpreneurs show them flaunting millions of dollars in cash, which they are not held accountable for. I mean, in the UK, if you were seen to be even holding $20,000 in cash on social media, I'm sure the police will be at your door knocking, asking you how you got that money, and asking you to be accountable for that. Yet that's non-existent in Zimbabwe. You've also got the likes of Scott Sakupkanya, who's another one being paraded and dressed up as a legitimate businessman. But really what he is just a front man for the dirty mining deals. He exports our gold while living behind polluted rivers, poisoned communities. And there's reports that at the mines that his companies are in charge of, the people are dying because there's lack of equipment. There's no accountability. This is not just theft; it is economic violence. It's not war against it's just war against the poor. And what does the government do in regards to all these issues that I'm highlighting? Simply nothing, because the government gains from all these illicit deals. There's nothing that goes on in Zimbabwe in terms of like any of these tenders going ahead, or mining deals, or even general companies that are making a lot of money in Zimbabwe. They have to pay some sort of money or some sort of fee to the Mnangagwas. What we are talking about here is that AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA is definitely not the right person to be invited to the FLAIR Summit. Instead, the Mnangagwas they invest in image washing, which is what they're doing right now, sending AUXILLIA to international events to pretend as though Zimbabwe is thriving, as if she's some kind of champion for women and health. Meanwhile, our sisters are giving birth on clinic floors with no painkillers. And while all this is happening, crime in Zimbabwe is rising. Armed robberies, house break-ins, frauds, kidnappings. People are turning to crime not out of choice, but out of desperation, simply because they have no other choice, which was highlighted by the previous speaker, Bule. The cost of living in Zimbabwe is unbearable. The economy has collapsed. Young men are being driven into drugs, violence, and illegal schemes because the system has given them nothing else. There's no way out. But again, what does the government say? They simply say nothing. No plan, no support, no compassion, only police repression and silence from leaders living their lavish lifestyles in their luxury homes. This is why we are protesting AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA'S appearance at the FLAIR Summit. This isn't about disrespect whatsoever. It's about the truth. It's about what's going on the ground. She is not a symbol of hope for any Zimbabwean whatsoever. She is a face of privilege, impunity, and stolen power, and greed, and just pure evil. To the UK government, how can you host someone from a regime that abducts journalists, beats protesters, and rigs elections? And how do you justify giving her a platform in the name of women's empowerment, while Zimbabwean women are being denied dignity, safety, and basic healthcare? To Zimbabweans in the diaspora, we are not to be silent. Our people back home live in fear. Speaking out gets you arrested. Asking questions gets you beaten. Criticizing the government gets you disappeared. But we are in a country right here in the UK where we can speak freely, and we must use that voice and this platform to voice our concerns. This protest is about more than one person. It's about demanding justice, demanding accountability. It's about saying enough is enough. No to Vision 2030. Enough looting. Enough lies. Enough suffering. Enough is enough. We want a Zimbabwe where the constitution is respected. The economy works for everyone, not just...
Milton, please wrap up, because we've already gone beyond 9:30 now, and we're supposed to be finishing at 9:30, and we've gone beyond it. And we've got all the other speakers. I'd like them to wrap up by 30 seconds. So if you can wrap up, please, in the next 30 seconds. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, Speaker. Thank you. Sorry about that. I just want to finish and close up and say, let's send a message at the FLAIR Summit. We see through the lies. We reject the propaganda. We speak for the voiceless. If we don't speak, who will speak for them? Thank you, and let's unite and let's stand for Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all of those that have been here from 7 p.m. UK time. Really appreciate it. And to all those that were listening, and to all the speakers. I think all the speakers have sort of been repeating what tomorrow is about. And so at the end, I will just talk about the times, but the organizers here can't talk about the times. So I'll start off with John, if I can come to you, John, and then I'll go to everybody else. Thank you so much. So your last words.
Okay, thank you very much, Patricia. Let's remind ourselves that ZANU-PF does not have a mandate. They are not a government. They are a self-elected administration, a mafia, a junta. They are not in control of the country. They're using Zimbabwe as an asset base for their personal aggrandizement and enrichment. And everything that is laid at the door, every problem in Zimbabwe has to be laid at the door of ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF are your major issue. You need to change your priorities. Tuesday, everything stops for Tuesday, everything. And you must try and make your way to London. If you can't make your way to London, start writing something. The written word stays in the system for a long, long time. If you can't attend, write. If you can't write, scream at somebody. But anyway, you've got to do something. Okay, bye now.
Thank you so much for that. Tatenda?
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, fellow event organizer. Thank you, Zimbabwe. Thank you, everyone who is in this platform. I just want to tell every Zimbabwean, wherever you are, in every hour you are working in the foreign land, you are not working for yourself, but you are working for Zimbabwe, because the foreigners, the Zimbabweans in the foreign world, they are contributing over 3 billion that is going to ZANU-PF. We are sending money to support our families. We need to alert people that whatever we are doing, no one is benefiting but ZANU-PF. We need to challenge the system. We need to remember that Mnangagwa's empowerment program is not for Zimbabweans, but for a few elite. And my heart currently bleeds with farmers in their spring farm area in Goromonzi, because one of my brothers, a son, I want to wrap up. Just 5 seconds. One of the affected, his father fought for Zimbabwe. He was one of the bodyguards for Mugabe when he went to Lancaster House. But because his father died, and other comrades in that area who are not supporting Mnangagwa have told courts to allow Bill Rattenberg to take their land. Zimbabweans, we need to fight for our Zimbabwe. Otherwise, we'll wake up with Mnangagwa owning everyone, even blankets that we sleep in. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Zimbabwe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Vengai?
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, listeners on this platform. Thank you, organizers, my fellow organizers, for this demonstration. Zimbabweans, we have suffered for a long time. 45 years is not a joke. Let's unite it. And our obstacle to progress, to freedom, is ZANU-PF for 45 years. Let's unite it and fight this injustice. Let's fight this cult. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tamiso? You're still here?
Thank you, Patricia, and thank you to all comrades who are really trying to reason together and say, please, we must say no to Auxilia, and we've had enough as a people, and we have lives to live. We only live once, and if we don't live it to the fullest now, when will we live it? Let's fight. It's our voices that can speak for us. Every nation is controlled by the people. The power in the people is in our speaking, in our actions together, and let's come together and talk and make noise, because this is not normal. But if we want to normalize it and keep quiet, then nothing will happen. Let's fight together. As a team, we are more stronger together than anything else. Please, let's be heard. On Tuesday, let's come in our numbers and make a lot of noise. We will be heard. One day we will get an answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Daraji? You're here? Is Daraji here? Okay. Signoro?
Yeah, I'll do a quick one. It has become tradition that certain things are brushed off and we close this space. I hope the things that I wanted to highlight have been noted. And I probably have engaged most of the activists here. I can see you. There's a statement in that, in the authenticity, how genuine are, and we want to take account on the day when we are going to meet to see how many people have attended, so that we understand what's going on. My main point here, I raised with Mnangagwa Auxilia. What is the portfolio of First Lady? What is he expected to do? And those who are in doubt, this country, Zimbabwe governing system, is slowly being turned into a dynasty. So it's up to us to deal with symptoms. And as it is somebody who is not a government official for the longest, representing the government. And that being said, we have a very complicated situation where the country slowly is being packaged and put in the hands of a family.
Thank you so much. I hadn't forgotten your question, but I think, if we are to be honest with each other and transparent, Chief Shoshe talked about volunteers, the hours and time that we spend, to come here and do all of these things. And so when we talk about time, if we say something is 2 hours or 2.5 hours, as a people, we need to learn to keep to time. It's not that I didn't want you to speak, but now we're almost at 10 p.m. And so I hope that when we do the next...
No, just save time. I've summarized it. Note it down.
Yeah.
Point again. It's very important, according to me. Even someone can ask those questions on my behalf. I don't have to be the one asking. Thank you.
You ask questions, but what I'm saying is, if there is no time...
I've answered. I'm not complaining. I'm noting that if it could be noted for business next time. That's all. I'm not complaining. Thank you so much.
Who hasn't spoken? So,
Okay.
Bule, I've got a few people. I can see people, but I've got an order to which I'm doing it. Bule, just 30 seconds, please. Your closing remarks.
30 seconds. Okay, that's fine. My closing remarks. I just want to say, guys, let's go in numbers in London. Let's go. Let's try and take our off days and go and fight this evil regime of ZANU-PF. And let's go there and protest and let our voices be heard on Tuesday in London. Because from Kukura until now, this needs to stop. Honestly, this needs to end. Let's fight. There is no ways AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA, she can represent us as Zimbabwe. And this Mnangagwa, they can't continue doing this. You know, it's too much. So I'm just asking people to come in numbers and, you know, let's protest. Thank you. Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you, Paula. Carla, I know that you haven't spoken, but it's only 30 seconds now, I'm afraid. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. My apologies for being late. I'm Ngala Canisius, the Provincial Secretary for ZAPU Europe. On behalf of ZAPU, we are saying that it is very important, especially to do such, especially this activism internationally, because at most times, countries, when they talk to each other or when they diplomatically talk, they won't be knowing what exactly we are suffering from. So I am calling on Zimbabweans, and I am thankful to the fact that we united with some non-governments, some human rights organizations and others to do this. And I'm saying to Zimbabweans, this is for us as Zimbabweans. I am also here in the diaspora. I have moved to the diaspora not because of choice. Some people are trying to move, but they will not be lucky to do so. Some are trying to move, some are frustrated where they are, and there you have these people coming to shine, and they just enjoy as if everything is okay. Let's do our best. Thank you very much for the unity. Let's push together. As ZAPU, we say we are behind everything that is happening, and then we say human rights must be respected instead of business being put ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nkala, for that. Really appreciate it. Panika?
Thank you, Patricia. I think everything has been said. Everything that I would have said has been said. Let's meet on Tuesday at the Leonardo Hotel in London, and let's face AUXILLIA MNANGAGWA. Most of us are not able to go to Zimbabwe for one reason or another. She has come here, so let's go and face it. It's one in a lifetime opportunity. Thank you so much. See you in London on Tuesday, the 17th of June. Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And finally, Chief Shoshe.
Just something to inspire everyone who is here and those that are going tomorrow. My Mnangagwa has been embarrassed before. You remember a few years ago, she was actually given a doctorate, an honorary doctorate at Harvard University, and we protested. We wrote letters, and that honorary degree was revoked. And she was supposed, at that same time, she was already in the United States. She was supposed to go and be a guest of honor in Canada and address a dubious women's conference that had been organized by Nigerians, just to cleanse the name, like someone was saying here. And our comrades in Canada protested wrote letters, we did everything that we could, and she was banished from getting into Canada. She never stepped foot in Canada. So she can be embarrassed again. And I know you guys can do it. Everyone who is here, please, let's speak to somebody in the United Kingdom so that they are there. Let's go and make a statement. As diasporans, this is our only way of making a good statement about our situation in Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for that and for reminding us. Even here in the UK, I think last year there was some funny, dubious organization, and they ended up either I don't know what they did, retracting something, and then I think there was something to do with Oxford and Students' Union. So she's used to it, but I think she thinks that she can get away with it. I just want to say a massive thank you so much to everybody that came, to all the speakers, taking time out to come to these spaces. It boosts the activists, all the organizers that have been here, but the work that they do outside of the spaces, it's a lot of work, and I'm so impressed. And so we look forward to Tuesday and hope that Tuesday will be a massive success. So there are some people that are going to be arriving at London Victoria Coach Station on Tuesday morning, and at about 8:30, everybody's going to walk from London Victoria Station to the Victoria Tube Station, and then get to London Tower Hill Station, and then from there they may meet some protesters outside around 9 or 9:15, and then people will walk together to the hotel. And if you're coming from wherever you're coming and you're confused, please send us a message on Change Radio, and we will connect you to some of the organizers' groups. And to those that didn't speak or felt I didn't answer their questions or that they didn't get enough time, my apologies. We're always under pressure. And so good night, everybody, and let's continue the fight for a free Zimbabwe. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.